Hi, students! So sorry I'm not here right now, but I am going to LA for my grandpa's 103rd birthday. Woo woo! So here is the first day of your new unit on systems. So here's the deal. Before you get started, I wanted you to notice that your homework is to study for your exam retake. I put a bunch of resources on Google Classroom, and this paper right here is worth double points. So make sure y'all get it done by the end of the period and turn it into the period box, okay? So go ahead and read the example. Take 30 seconds and read the example. 30 seconds, go. All right, y'all should be done reading the example by now. Something I want you to notice is that we actually have two equations here. And the reason is because in our new unit, you're going to be solving for both x and y. So instead of just having to solve for one variable, you're actually going to have to solve for two variables because they want you to find out two unknowns. There are two things that we don't know in systems. So you're going to be given a problem where you can't just solve for one thing, like how much did it cost Susie to get 5 tickets or something. It's going to be how much did it cost for 2 different types of tickets, or how many people were in a van and how many people were in a car. It's going to be 2 different numbers that you're going to be solving for. It's pretty exciting. So let's get started. I'm going to use some colors to help me with this. If you have any different colored highlighters, it might help you with word problems in any time. The first thing you're going to do is look at what you need to know what x represents and y represents. And I actually told you literally straight up. I said that x is going to be the price of a senior citizen ticket. So for x, I'm going to say let x represent the price of a senior ticket. So this is something we don't know. They gave you a bunch of numbers in this problem, but they didn't tell you how much a ticket costs for a senior. They just said how many tickets were sold. She sold 3 senior citizen tickets, but they're not telling us how much it was, and that's what we don't know. We also don't know what y is, which is the price of a child ticket. So we don't know the price of a child ticket either. So that's what y is going to represent. So we have 2 variables because we don't know 2 things, the price of a senior ticket and the price of a child ticket. Okay, so let's write that down. Price of a child ticket. So those are the 2 things that we have no clue. They give us tons of information, but not those things. And you're going to have to solve for that, but not today. We'll work on solving later. You're just going to set it up. You're just going to literally write the equations. So let's go ahead and look at these equations. I left some little spaces for you to make it easier so you know what you're going to do. You're going to have to just fill in the spaces with the numbers that they've given you. So remember that x represents the price of a senior ticket, and y represents the price of a child ticket. So in order to find out how much money they made, if I want to know how much money they made, I need to say, okay, how many tickets did they sell and how much were the tickets? Were the tickets $5 each? Were the tickets $10 each? Were the tickets $1 million each? I need to know the price in order to find out how much they made. All I know is how many tickets were sold, which helps. It helps. So we're going to write it down. So to find how much money they made, we're going to multiply the price, x, times how many senior tickets were sold. So how many were sold? Let's use my highlighter. So I'm going to use my orange highlighter for the price of the senior tickets. So the price of the senior tickets is x, right? So in order to find out how much they made off of seniors, we got to find out how many tickets were sold to seniors. So let's check out these numbers. We got 3, we got 1, we got 38, we got 52, we got a lot of numbers here. but only a few of them are talking about how many senior tickets were sold. Senior tickets. Let's look for them. They sold three senior citizen tickets. Cool. Then it says 1 ticket for child, nobody cares, blah, blah, blah. And then it says again, on day 2, they sold 3 senior tickets again. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to go ahead and use my other highlighter to talk about can I open this? To talk about the child tickets. Okay, so I'm using red for Y, representing the price of the child ticket. There we go. So to find out how much money they made off of the children, they got to find out how many children bought tickets. So let's look for how many children bought tickets. 1 ticket. 1 ticket was sold to a child. 1 child ticket. Okay, blah, blah, blah. And then on day 2, they sold 2 child tickets. Okay, cool. So now we can actually start plugging stuff in. So on day 1, equation 1 is going to represent day 1. And this is equation 2 is day 2. So on day 1, we had 3 senior tickets sold on day 1. So I'm going to put that right there. On day 2, they sold 3 senior tickets again. So I'm going to write that again right here. Now for the child price, so how many children actually bought tickets? There was 1 child ticket sold on day 1, and on day 2, 2 child tickets were sold. Boom. Now, what am I going to put over here? If I add the price of the senior ticket times how many they sold, plus the price of a child ticket times how many tickets they sold, I'm going to get the total of how much money they made. So that's the total of how much money they made. So let's look at their total on day 1. So for day 1, a total of 38. So I'm going to put 38 as the total. And then on day 2, it says they made $52. So I'm going to put 52 as the total over here. And that's basically all you have to do for today. Literally, you're just setting up the equations, writing down what X and Y represents, and see this thing that says solution right here? You're going to not even write anything for this because you don't know how to actually solve a system of equations yet. So what you're going to do is you are going to save this for later, for Tuesday. We're going to come back to this paper on Tuesday and actually discover how many senior tickets were sold and how many child tickets were sold. So we're actually going to discover the value of the X and the value of the Y on Tuesday. On Monday, we have our exam retake. So I hope this helps. If you need to, replay the video over and over again. Oh, and one last thing. I'm going to put little stars next to 2 problems that are a little tricky, but you can still do it. So a star on 3 and a star on 5. And I want you guys to try these problems. I'm just going to give you a little hint because these ones look like they're not giving you enough information. Number 3 and number 5 look like they're not giving you enough information, but I'm going to give you a little hint. One of these is going to be the total of the money that was collected. Oops, that looks like a 6. That's a 0. Okay. And the other equation is not going to be talking about money. It's only going to be talking about the number of tickets that were sold in total. So they're 2 different totals. Like this is money and this is the number of tickets. So it's okay to have X plus Y if they represent the number of tickets sold. It's okay to actually have just a 1 as the coefficient for X and the coefficient for Y. And then you can fill in these other 2 blanks, okay? So do the whole thing. There's only 7 problems. If you need any help, you can contact me and I will get back to you. Have a great day. See you Monday.